Hi there, fight fans. My name is Kian Lang, and I'm very happy to say that I'm today joined by one of South Africa's very best mixed martial artists, Tumelo Manyamala. Tumelo, thank you very much for joining me today. How are we doing today, brother?
Thank you for having me, my brother. I'm very well, and yourself?
I'm really good. I'm really good. Happy to be speaking with you today. And I'd love to start with, before we get into the Ultimate Fighter and everything that went on with that and that crazy show and I imagine crazy experience, I want to go back a little bit before because you obviously had a very difficult year, I imagine, tearing your MCL just before your EFC title fight. You come back, you break your foot. I mean, it always seems like that in mixed martial arts injuries. They like to come in
Yeah.
pairs like that. What was that year like and dealing with that time off?
Oh man, it was a crazy year. I mean, coming from the year before I was undefeated, I finished the year at 5-0, like on a high. You don't know the feeling of loss yet. And then that January of 2024, I get my first loss. So the split decision, good fight, against a guy from AKA. So I trained with Khabib and DC and all that. So you know that was it was hard, but I made it through. And then came back in the May, got my TKO finish, which settled my mind a bit. Be like, yeah, I do belong. And after that, I got a title fight on 3 weeks' notice after that May fight. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm on a high right now. Let me just muscle through. And literally a week before I tore my MCL, a week before my title fight. And it was a crazy thing because I had been chasing that title for about like 2 years, you know. Usually in EFC, like you win about like two, three fights, and they're like, here's your title. I had to win six. So so I was like, okay, it's finally my chance, and then tear my MCL. But it was a blessing in disguise, I guess. That gave me the time to kind of sit down, and that's where I watched Tough 32. So weird, while I was in hospital, and I was like, okay, you know what? One day I'm gonna make it there. And fast forward 6 months later, I did. Um, yeah, just could have been under better circumstances, I guess. So yeah, after that MCL tear, I was out for about 3 months. I started training for a month and a half, started to get back into the groove, and I ended up breaking my foot on the same leg, which is crazy. Yeah, and it's my power leg. So a lot of my earlier fights, like I love head kicks. I love them. But
I've
you
seen.
know, thank you. And yeah, it just my leg was totally obliterated, and yeah, and then I ended up only taking the moon boot off 3 weeks before I had to leave for Vegas. So the whole time I was applying for the Ultimate Fighter, I was in crutches in a moon boot. Luckily, all the interviews are online, so they didn't know. So yeah, I was
So
just hoping for the best. Yeah.
man, and I mean that must be such a wild process for you. And even when you got to Vegas, was the foot fully healed by the time you got to the Ultimate Fighter and started training? I imagine not. Yeah.
No, no, not at all. I mean, I couldn't even kick on the right foot. So if you watch my fight in the Ultimate Fighter, it's all left foot, left kicks, which is, you know, but you have to make it work. It's the fight game.
I suppose it's one of those opportunities, isn't it, with the Ultimate Fighter, where you don't know when it comes around next. It could be 5 years, 8 years for your weight
Yeah,
class. So you kind
yeah.
of got to go for it. I mean, what was that experience like with the Ultimate Fighter? Because it's kind of half fight show, half reality show at times with all the cameras and everything. Was it difficult at all being surrounded by those cameras constantly?
I mean, it was an adjustment with the cameras. I'm not used to um cameras being around all the time, and we're constantly walking around with these mics, that we wear. So it's like the feeling that people, there's always someone listening. You know what I mean? Even after the show, when I got home, like when I was speaking like to my family and fiance, like at the back of my mind, I was like, oh shit, there's someone listening. And then I had to I had to remind myself that yeah, the show's over. But Crazy experience, man. Crazy experience. Real eye opener. Just meeting like awesome fighters. You know, I know I went through my struggles and my injuries, but relating to other people that had their own struggles, which is nice to go through.
It was kind of much more of a nice season. I feel like this year there was none of that like let me bang bro stuff that we see in past seasons. It was pretty chill for the most part. Was that did that kind of catch you off guard a little bit? You thought it was
It
just going to be
did.
people scrapping?
It really did. I watched previous seasons, the Let Me Bang Bro, and there was more that dude that was like, I can't get knocked out, and they clocked
That's
him.
wild.
Yeah. And then this season, like everyone's so relaxed. Fighters journal now. We journal every morning. Who knew?
You'd have
I
thought.
thought I was the only one. Yeah.
And then, I mean, you're surrounded by guys that you like, you get on with, and you're living with, and then you have to go and fight Roybert. Is that,
Yeah.
and especially in like an empty arena, of course, your coaches are there, your fellow housemates are there, but how weird is that experience fighting a guy you're living with and fighting in a like an empty place with no atmosphere, really?
It's so weird because like when you cut weight, you're like in a vulnerable kind of state, and like when I cut weight, like I'm done, man. So like having to avoid him, you know, while I'm cutting weight so he doesn't see me in a vulnerable state, and it's weird. But he was a really nice guy. We got along, it didn't feel like I was fighting an enemy, it just highlights the fact that, it's just business. It's just a fight game. And walking out with no music is weird.
Can't even imagine. It looks so strange to me on telly when it happens. Like you've got the music on the broadcast, but I always think like, what is this like for this guy walking out? Like you must be used to getting so amped up the crowd.
Yeah,
EFC have some great crowds, man, and
yeah,
this is just the complete opposite.
yeah. It's like empty, just silence, just you and your thoughts, I guess. But yeah, I mean, it prepares you for, the big stage, to kind of like zone in and focus on what you need to do instead of, all the noise and all that. And yeah,
And of course, I mean, I imagine one of the most special parts of the experience was getting to train and work under Daniel Cormier, who's one of the greatest fighters of all time. What was that experience like for you?
I mean, it was crazy. Like I say this to this day, he changed my fight style forever. I haven't fought since, but there are things that I learned there which I'm going to implement in my fighting, and it's been working in my sparring and everything. So I'm just excited to actually show what I learned because I haven't been able to show it yet, but soon.
And I mean, looking forward to the that future now. Is the plan to go back to the EFC and reclaim that title or get to that title again?
Um, I mean that's an option, but I'm looking more like international bouts. You know, um, just being an Ultimate Fighter was like so EFC, you fight good people. Like I say, EFC, they have a show every month, and it's a good way to build your kind of your record, to build your experience. But there comes a point where you have to fight international opponents. You have to fight people that are really good, so it's not like a shock when you get there, So right now, I'm trying to look for international fights. I mean, if the title comes, maybe I fight for the title and then go somewhere else. But yeah, right now, international.
That's exciting to hear. And I imagine, being on the Ultimate Fighter, does it just increase that hunger, that motivation to get to the real thing and get to the UFC one day?
It really does. Because like you're right there. We're rubbing shoulders with legends. We got to train with like Brandon Moreno. We got to train with Yair Rodriguez. Ahmed Pereira. So it's like you're right there. It's so close. You know what I mean? So yeah.
That's so cool, man. And now for you, like I said at the start, you're one of South Africa's best fighters to me, and the country is obviously coming along so much in mixed martial arts. Of course, mainly thanks to Jerkus and all the recognition and all the attention he's given to the country. But how important is it for you to be another guy that flies that flag and helps to bring attention and resources and facilities over to South Africa?
I mean, it's honestly such a privilege, you know, because MMA is still growing in South Africa. I mean, it's not where it should be yet, but it's getting there pretty fast. And I mean, right now I'm in Ireland training at SBG, and you can just see like even the amateurs here are really good because they've been having amateur fights for years, and lots of experience. Like I had one amateur MMA fight before I went pro,
Wow.
just one. It's hard to find amateur fights, but yeah.
That's I don't think I've ever heard someone be so successful as a pro with one amateur fight, man. That's crazy. I mean, you
Thank
mentioned there SBG. I didn't even know you were over in Ireland. That's down the road from me. How is that experience training with those guys? It's a heck of a gym there.
It's crazy, my man. It's the really levels with the striking, they have a very good kickboxing background. I'm at the Charlestown, SBG Charlestown under Owen Roddy, amazing coach. Like like the way he kind of analyzes, the striking, the MMA is an eye opener, you know what I mean? So I'm really enjoying the experience, and yeah, I'm definitely gonna take a lot of knowledge back home and hopefully come back here and train again and just kind of bring the knowledge to South Africa as well.
That's great to hear. And how quickly can fans expect to see you back in the cage? Hopefully soon. Is the foot all properly healed now, or still need a little bit more time?
Foot is good now. Foot is all healed. I'm wanting to get one fight before the end of the year at least. Yeah, I couldn't fight until the finale was finished. So I've kind of been on the sidelines the whole year. Finale happened this past weekend, so I'm excited to get back in there.
I can't wait to see it. Tumelo, thank you very much for your time today, brother. I'm really looking forward to seeing your future in this sport. I think it's going to be a really big one. So thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you so much for having me, man.
Man, anytime, anytime. After the next one, hopefully we can do it again.
Of course, anytime.
Thank you, bro.